Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. We're starting about 10 minutes late. My bad on that. Hope everyone's doing good. Merry Christmas, Chris. What's up, Marine? Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'm looking forward to the bets this week. Like, this card is kind of horrendous if you think about it. But am I the only one who wants to lay like 5 bets? And I definitely want to go more volume over big bets this week. I think that would be interesting. But yeah, man, I'm kind of looking forward to this week, although I don't think I have the goal to bet like a game. Like, I kind of think the Raiders with Aiden O'Connell starting, I kind of think they're going to roll over the Jags. But do I want to bet that? No. But am I tempted? Yes. Merry Christmas, Casper. What's up? What's up, Cals? What? Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to this week. I got an alt line for you guys. I think that's going to be like the only big splash. Last week, the Tampa Bay alt line did hit that I posted. It's just there was a lot of other stimulation for you guys to bet. So I'm sure very few people took that. Chris, Jarrett wants to know where you're at in Florida. He wants to visit the Hooters. And Chris, you gave me a fucking scare last night with your post on Discord about the lines. You gave me a scare, man. What's up, King Kai? Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas, Steve. Hope everyone's doing good. What's up, Wiz? How about your Raiders this week, Wiz? What's up, Vaughn? What's up? And how about those Patriots? Alt line it to Patriots plus 7.5. Let's go. I mean, we don't necessarily want to do that, but if we had to pick like a long dog, a long shot this week, that would probably be on my list. Okay, yeah, he's at International Drive in Orlando. So there you go, Jarrett. What's up, Leon? What's up, Leon? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Kiovang? Yeah, man, let's get this money. Feeling good about this week. Listen, I don't have much to say about that Steelers-Ravens game Saturday. And to be honest, can I be the only one to be honest about it? Of course, I'm going to watch it, but I'm not that excited about that game. The game I'm excited about is Chiefs-Texans. I think there's some interesting things we can do there. What's up, Dan? Dude, I'm doing good, man. Yeah, Altamont. Oh, I know Altamonte, Florida. I know that part of Florida good. Like, I used to work in like LaBelle, and then one year I worked in Pahokee. Yeah, man. Dude, Yvonne, you're gonna freeze your ass off at that Patriots-Chargers game. But Drake's worth the watch, man. He's worth the watch. Didn't you go to the game in Tennessee? Much better conditions. I got to be honest. Like, one time my dad, when I was like 8 years old with my dad and grandpa, we went to a Bills-Jags game. Like, think of the era with like Tony Boselli, Mark Brunell, when they had those old white uniforms with the Jaguar on the side. Think that era, and think like the Bills being bad with Marv Levy. So I was like 7, 8 years old. I went to a game like a few days after Christmas. And like, dude, I was dressed appropriately, lived in upstate New York my whole life. My grandpa was good. He was like 80 years old. And I ended up getting frostbite on my feet. And I had to go like to the medical place where they had the players. They had like offensive linemen in there. They're like injecting them and shit. Moral to that story, when I went to Bills games, I went in September and October. That's the moral to that story. You don't want frostbite on your feet. I mean, dude, it's deceptive. Like, I'd rather sit in 110 degrees cooking with sun than have to deal with like a 10, 15 degree day. Imagine that Chiefs game last year in the playoffs against the Dolphins. That was brutal, man. Marine, I'm a little bit concerned about the Rams as we go on throughout this week, to be honest. I'm more concerned. I felt like that was the slam dunk best bet. I don't think it's the best bet now. But the thing that makes me point in the Rams' direction still is I think they're going to run the ball. Now, the Jets can't stop anyone on defense. They are going to have Reed and they're going to have Sauce Gardner healthy for this game. So that does give me a little bit of scare, because when I was thinking this game, I was thinking over Rodgers alts, Stafford's alts on the player props. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more this is like a Kyron Williams game. And the Jets haven't stopped the run all year. Quentin Williams has a hamstring. You guys can see if he was ruled out. I was trying to check before the show. I didn't get any confirmation on that, but I'm still on the Rams. But yeah, I wanted to go Stafford and Rodgers alts. The Rodgers player props have been good on the player prop show the last 2 weeks. And Maureen, one of your questions on Patreon is taking from my best player prop this week. We might as well just get to it. I'll just start with that question on Patreon from Marine, and then I'll get to the rest of the YouTube comments before we get into them. Also, with Tampa versus run, how about Dowdle under rushing? Money. Listen, this is the player prop of the century. When I saw it was at 71.5. If it's at 64.5, you go under. Listen, like I said last week, going into the Chargers-Bucks game, there's one thing the Bucks do well on defense, and that's stop the run. And that's the one thing you have to take away from Dallas. And I think this Dallas offense will seriously struggle, because I think Tampa will take away the run. I think the best player prop this week is Dowdle under rushing yards. Coop also tipped that on Discord. So I feel like that's a brilliant time to get under. It's a very high number for any running back, especially a running back who's running against with a makeshift offensive line. And a quarterback who can't really take the top off the defense at all. So, yeah, Steve, they better run the ball. Although, like, I'm more concerned about the wind than the 25 degrees. And from what I was checking today, the wind's not going to be a factor. We'll see if the Rams play good, though. I'm not really judging them on that Thursday night performance too much, to be honest. Like, I'm not letting that get in the way of my judgment of that game. Yeah, Chris, your bet now is out of control. Your bet now is out of control. Yeah, King Justin, it's not, and with the Lions, I don't know if I would just count them out yet. Because the NFC is ultra competitive. But yeah, man, King Justin, I worried about them peaking too early. And I think I was talking alone on that. And maybe I wasn't right about that. But then you get all these injuries. What do they have? How many guys do they have on IR? We saw David Montgomery go on IR now, and their whole defense is on IR. Their whole defensive line's on IR, and you're just wondering, how do they come back from this? There's no moves to be made. There's no trades to be made, and it's just really, really disappointing to see this Lions season tank out this way. Listen, this channel had a soft spot before the Lions, long before they became America's team, and they kind of transformed into America's team the last year and a half. And it's a damn shame, because I wanted to see them do something, man. Wanted to see them do something. Yeah, man, I would watch a Lions Chiefs Super Bowl. But yeah, man, I am a little bit tired on the Chiefs, but every time we bet against them this year, it's been good. We're 2-0. How about that? 2-0 betting against the Chiefs. They used to be my kryptonite. I think Casey's an average offense, so I think there's some serious issues. Guys. All right, let's get to the Patreon questions. Okay, here we go. We got a lot tonight, so I'm going to work through them. I'm going to get on early. I kind of have to go early tonight, so I don't know if I'm going to have any guests on, but we'll see. We'll see how the we'll see how it goes. Okay, here we go. Okay. The white guys just looking for a few 6-point teaser options. Well, let me open up the spread since we're going to get to the questions. Yeah, so for 6-point teaser options, like I would say obviously Bengals get that down to 2.5. Ravens are a good 6-point teaser option. I really don't want to play with this Lions Bears game. You guys can do that. I don't really want to play with that in a teaser scale. Bringing the Falcons down is definitely an option. I'm excited about Penix. I think that's going to rejuvenate the offense, and I'm not worried about Locke versus DeVito. Either way, that Giants offense is bad. Other 6-point teaser options, I'm looking. I wouldn't tease the Bills down. I wouldn't tease the Patriots up. I wouldn't touch that 49ers Dolphins game. And now the 49ers are a favorite, which, man, for me, that's a little bit shocking. Okay, on one book, they're the favorite. But either way, like, let's not touch that Dolphins 49ers game. Like, the one thing I do like is I really like the over in that game. It's at 44.5 when I picked it on the over under videos. And I get it. It's not last year, but could you imagine if Purdy played Tua last year, what the over under in that game would be? It would be like fucking 49.5 in Miami, right? Am I crazy? So I feel like we're getting really good value with the 44.5. And I know the 49ers defense played better last week and they are getting a little bit healthier, but damn, man. Come on, man. Like, you got to think that's like a 27-24 game. Like, that has to go over. Like, I'm not itching to bet a total this week, but if I had to bet one total, actually, if I had to bet it one total, it would be between the Vikings Seahawks under or the Dolphins 49ers over. Those are two of the best totals I've seen the whole year. I don't know about you guys. Those are the two best totals I've seen the whole year. And as for teasers, yeah, man. So the teasers I would be looking at are get the Bengals down, get the Falcons down, get the Ravens down. I don't think the Ravens are going to lose to the Steelers. And I don't think anyone should be laying 7 points with the Ravens. Like, if you do, like, you got a serious problem. Alistair sends a super chat. Thank you, Alistair. Hey, Lawson Kloss, what would be the best spreads for Sunday? Well, in my opinion, I think we can't look past the Bucks. I think that would be the spread that's most enticing for me. Also, Bengals -7.5. I think it's up to 8.5. Was up to 9 on some books. Those are the two that are the most interesting to me, Alistair, for obvious reasons. So yeah, you called it with the Chargers, bro. Good job as always. Yeah, thank you, Justin. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, man, and that video wasn't about me like trying to prove people wrong or beat my chest. I wanted to give caution because the pick I saw spouted the most on the YouTube comments. Like, I couldn't respond to comments this week. Had to kind of go insular, and I was actually busy this week. I made 2 more videos than normal. The idea I wanted to get out with the Chargers video wasn't for people to bet the Chargers. It was for people not to bet the Broncos. And it was not to bet the game. It was not to bet the game. But yeah, I was on the Chargers, but I'm not taking credit for it. I just wanted to give a little bit of caution to the people because we know how dangerous those Thursday night games can be. And my record's been good on Thursday night, but I'll tell you, the Patreon users will tell you, anytime I've tried to dabble with Thursday night games, it's been ugly. I've only dabbled like maybe 3 times this year. I was like 1 and 2, but each time I dabble, I get fucking burned. Okay. So like I said, the Thursday night, Monday night record is phenomenal this year. You can go through all the videos, but it's different when you press that button and you put in the fucking bat and then the crazy shit happens. Okay. Like, we know how that goes. Like, that's why I put out the Chargers Broncos video. I felt like it was important. And I felt like the Texans Chiefs video is extremely important this week because I had a lot of time to just dive into those games individually. Bears money line. Amun. I see what you did there with the name. listen, I don't think the Bears money line's a bad value play here. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I don't want to have this come back and bite me Monday morning or Tuesday morning when people will remind me, but I don't think the Bears money line's a bad value play here. I don't. I really don't. I just don't have the cojones to do it. And I have two other long shots I'm looking at. So if I didn't have enough, I would be lying if I said that wasn't on my long shot list. I do like the over in that Detroit Bears game. The only reason why that wasn't like one of the totals I really loved this week is because Goff and cold weather. But are the Bears defense ready to stop anyone, guys? Are they? And we can't imagine the Bears getting too much pressure on. We can't imagine the Lions getting too much pressure on Caleb Williams, right? That doesn't mean he's going to do anything. Of course not. Like, the Bears are a complete train wreck. But if Caleb Williams can stand back there against a defense that is pretty much second and third stringers, I see a passageway for it. No, I know, Wiz, don't put us out on Caleb. We got other meat on this bone. Like I said, like it's a nasty, dirty, grimy week. That's definitely not a quality bet you want to get into. Yeah, no, Wiz, he could stand back there fucking 8 seconds and dive into sacks, and then his fanboys and lazy people in the media will say, oh, the offensive line sucks, when he stands back there 8 seconds and then like dives into a sack. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay. Yeah, man. Ryan, I'm looking at a lot. Player props, I got a list. I just don't have the exact numbers. I know who I want to target. Marine had a good question on Patreon earlier. Like, the player prop I would be targeting this week is Dowdle under. We don't want to say it too loud because right now it's at 71, 70 and a half. Like, we don't want you to go bet it and it's at 63 and a half. Like, the player prop markets, like, they do listen to this stuff. And I have been on an absolute tear slinging these player props. Okay, here we go. Let's get to the Patreon question. Warren Flowers, very good indeed. I'm liking the Bengals, KC, Ravens. What's your thoughts on those games? I can take one of them away, maybe tease them down. Well, Warren, you should watch my video on the Texans, Chiefs. I would strongly suggest not backing the Chiefs. Ravens, if we're laying the points, fuck no. If we're teasing the Ravens down, then I'm on it. And then, yes, I'm on the Bengals. And I'm not like a big stat guy. But one thing I have been using this year is EPA. Okay? I have a question for you guys. Who's the only quarterback in EPA per play who's worse than DTR, who's going to be starting for the Browns? Guys, with 100 dropbacks, with 100 pass attempts, who's the only quarterback worse in EPA per play than DTR? Ryan Finley. So yeah, we won bets with DTR last year. I don't know how we did it. God is great. God is beautiful. But I think that's enough case for the Bengals. I think DTR is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. And the stats say it, the eye test says it. I don't look at like quarterback rating. I look at like EPA more. So yeah, man, DTR is a train wreck. But I would caution you on Casey and the Ravens with the spread, Warren. Lino Frosto, yo, what's good, John? Who do you think is going to get butt blasted all the way up the wisdom teeth this week? Same team will be delivering the blow as last week. Remember when I told you guys alt line with the Bucks last week against the Chargers? We're going to do the same thing again with Dallas. I can see how this Dallas game gets ugly. Now, hear me out. Dallas has been running the ball really well, like 120, 130 yards a game. Dowdle's been phenomenal. But that's a bad offensive line. That's a bad quarterback. And Cooper Rush, listen, I don't blame him that much. This Cowboys offense wasn't even good with Dak. when he drops back, everything's coming out in a second and a half. And the way you want to beat the Bucs, the way you want to attack the Bucs defense is you want to work the ball downfield. You want to stand in the pocket and you want to hit them deep. They've given up a lot of deep passes. They've given up a lot of passes in that 10 to 20 yard radius as well. But I don't think Cooper Rush is the guy to do that. And I think the Bucs offense is a top 5 offense in this league, as crazy as it is for people to wrap their head around. I think the Bucs put a beating on the Cowboys. I think the Bucs will run the ball well against the Cowboys. I also think this Cowboys secondary has been pretty bad this year, even though they fought in games and they're in bad situations. Yeah, man. But yo, white guy, no problem. White guy says took the over in the Dolphins game. Yes, you followed my advice there. Under in the Vikings game, love that. And if we get the backup quarterback for the Seahawks, that's going to be absolutely beautiful. Even if he doesn't play, I think it's a good hedge. I think that under hits either way. And under in the first half of the Chiefs game. No opinion on the under the first half of the Chiefs game, but it is interesting. I am following you there. I just have to see the number. I like Atlanta as well, my guy. I like Atlanta as well. So yeah, when I picked Atlanta, Kirk was still the starter and it was -10. With it down to -8, -8.5. With Penix, I think we're going to get a good vibe. Lawson, who is the guy you do the opening lines with? Never seen him. He looks like he's 12 years old. I trust you and your knowledge. Always go with your gut. 90% of the time, you're right. Thank you, Casper. That's Michael Mann. He's on the live call-in show a lot. But yeah, Michael Mann, I think he's like 24, 25. But yeah, Michael Mann definitely looks young. My wife calls him a boy, but like not in like a bad sense. It's just, yeah, Michael Mann does look really, really young. He's always kind of look young. But yeah, Mike's been good this year, man. Or in the past years, like we used to like burn him for his takes, but his takes have been good this year. So far. Always learning. Thoughts on this 10-point teaser? Eagles +6.5. Dolphins +11. Packers -4. Okay, let me think. Okay, Eagles +6.5. Yes. Absolutely love it. Dolphins +11. I like it. Yeah, I don't see the Dolphins laying another egg. Packers -4. Yeah, I actually think the Packers cover the 14. If I had to change one pick from the Tuesday video, it would be Packers to cover the 14. I don't know about you guys, but as soon as I saw snow in the forecast and as soon as I saw Kamara's groin was doing bad, I just felt like it's over for the Saints. I got to say, though, I'm not feeling as confident in the Eagles money pick as I was on Tuesday. That's another thing. I don't think I'll be betting that game. Jake Johnson. Hey, Lawson, personal question. That's fine. What is the most amount of money you have put on a game, college fund? And what is the least amount you have put on a game? The most I put on a game was $6,000. I think it was like $5,500. I actually did a video about it. It was when the Vikings, remember when the Vikings had a problem with Stephon Diggs, and the Vikings, I think, started like 0-2, and they were on the road to the Giants, and the Vikings were like -2.5, -3, and Daniel Jones was the starter for the Giants. And this is the Diggs last year with the Vikings, and that was my college fund bet. That was my biggest bet. This year, the biggest bet was still the 3,800 I put on the Steelers against the Chargers week 3. That was my biggest bet, and I needed to hit that bet. I normally don't get in a situation where like, oh, I need to hit a bet. Like I don't get in that situation. It was just a weird start to the season for me. Normally, I always start the season fast, and I'm normally not too good in the playoffs, but I always start the season fast. This year's been weird. Like I started getting heat around like week 6. Up until last week, I've been pretty hot. And normally, like the first 5 weeks, I rake. The first 5 weeks this year were like up and down for me. Obviously, week 3 was a big week, but yeah, man, it was a weird year because normally I start the year blazing. And I don't know what was different this year. So yeah, man. But yeah. So yeah, that's my biggest bet. It wasn't anything crazy. Wish I would have went 20 G's on the game, but I didn't have 20 G's at the time. I lived in my fucking parents' house. Jeremy Wheel. Okay, Lawson, I know San Fran defense is cheeks this year, but I still think they have a chance to beat the Fins. Yeah, of course they have a chance. Of course they have a chance. They're still in the race for the playoff spot as well. What do you think? Well, I don't think they're getting to the fucking playoffs. NFC has too many good teams. Do I think the 49ers could beat the Dolphins? Of course. Of course. Of course. Of course, I just think the Dolphins win the game because I'm going with who I think is the better offense. And I'm worried about San Fran in those red zone type situations. And the Dolphins are pretty good against the run. The way I would attack the Dolphins defense is to slang it all day and spread them out like the Jets did. Can San Fran do that? I don't know. Dolphins pass rush has been getting better as the year went on, right? It has. Although those guys are always get hurt on the defense line for the Dolphins. So I do think it's the Dolphins. I don't feel as confident as I did earlier in the week, though. Let's be honest about it. Chris, John, you're over under 44.5. I feel is spot on for the Miami San Fran game. I do. Like, I think we're getting really good value there. Like, I don't want to repeat myself, but I have to ask the question. If this was last year, what would the over-under be? And I know the teams aren't the same as last year. Of course, like I know we're not betting last year. I always tell you guys that. But like, what would it be like? 49.5, 50.5, 52.5, 53.5? And that's with a better San Fran defense. This San Fran defense can be exploited. Okay, Chris says, however, there are some issues with Miami's offensive tackle positions on both sides that worry me against Shanahan's defense this week. If I'm able to get on, I'll explain it in detail. If not, fade the Fins this week. Yeah. I don't worry about the pressure coming from the left side. I more or less worry about Bosa. And that's to his blind side, so that's obviously a real issue. But yeah, I worry about San Fran's defense in space. And I guess that's the issue defending the Dolphins. They're going to put you in space and they're going to get rid of the ball fast. But yeah, also like, I think another component is Purdy getting 250 yards, 280 yards. Like if Rodgers can do it, you got to think Purdy can do it. Brendan Lawson, am I crazy for wanting to college fund the Rams -3? I don't think you're crazy, Brendan. I don't. I just worry about Rodgers getting hot. That's the only thing that cooled me off on this game, Brendan, is Rodgers getting hot. And I do like how this young Rams secondary has played. But I do think they can be exploited, and they're not playing Geno Smith this week. So while Rodgers has been bad at times, but we're seeing Rodgers be more mobile. I think he scrambled on 20 to 25% of his passes last week, which is crazy, which now he's moving around. We all saw that Dolphins game we had with the best bet. and he moved around pretty well as well. So that's the only thing that gives me caution. But the reason why I do like the Rams, I don't know. I'm not going to college fund it. I'm not going to best bet it this week. I feel like we have better best bets on the table. But the reason why I like the Rams is because I think the Rams are going to run it down the Jets' throat. And you worry about McVay 1 year laying points. I mean, Brendan, you've been on Patreon the whole year. You guys remember when we laid that 4.5 at Foxborough, and you remember just how much we had to sweat with that because you worry about McVay, and he made some crazy decisions in the fourth quarter where he clenched up. So, yeah, there's that, man. But I do like the Rams. I think they run it all over them. And plus the Rams are on a long week. Like, I see your fundamentals there. Wahid the Great, best 3-team money line parlay. I got this one book that I must pick 3 teams in order for the bet to be valid. Let me type it to you, Wahid. We'll work it out. So I'm going to go money line because I'm trying to make myself look good. So money line. Let's go Bengals. Let's go Falcons. And let's get one more risky so we can bring this up. Actually, Bengals, Falcons, Bucks. Fuck it. You're betting 1,000 on it. Bengals, Falcons, Bucks. Let's not overthink it. Jake Deverett. Am I crazy thinking Bucks -4 is a no-brainer bet? No, but I was waiting for a reason because I'm cooking something else up for this game. Might be missing something on the injury report, Jake. No, you're not. But so far this season, they have proven a high success rate running up the score on subpar teams. Let me know your thoughts. Well, yeah. We saw it last week, and I laid the all -5 with the Bucks. I'm not trying to beat my chest about it. Obviously, last week there were hits, there were misses. That was a big hit from me because everyone was on the Chargers last week. I made the video, said Bucks +3. We went on Patreon, we bet it, and then we said Bucks -5 outline. And I trust them in this game, Jake. Like, it's a great situation. You do worry about it being Sunday night. Would I prefer it be Sunday at 1 o'clock? Absolutely. But we know the NFL doesn't like blowouts in primetime, especially with the Monday night game being Saints-Packers. But I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to run the ball. And one thing the Bucs defense can do, the only thing they can put pressure on the quarterback. They got a good pressure rate. They blitz a lot. But the one thing the Bucs can do on defense is stop the run. No one's ran the ball against them this year. Can you think of a team that ran the ball against them? I can't. Like, even Atlanta didn't run the ball great against them, and they got Bijan and Algiers and a lot of money invested in the offensive line. You just can't run the ball on the Bucs defense. And then you have a top 5 offense that can lay into them. And I still feel like this Cowboys front 7 is vulnerable against the run. They've been playing good. But for some reason last week, Carolina got away from the run. Their first 2 drives were excellent because they're running the ball, play action, letting Bryce make decisions with the run game attached. Once the Panthers got away from the run game, that's when that game spiraled out of control. So the Bucs are also going to run it against the Cowboys, and they're going to keep putting the foot on the gas pedal. And I also see the Bucs as an alt line option for us this week. Maddie Zhang, let's get this week as always. Thank you for the great season. No, thank you, Maddie. Thanks for getting on Patreon, bro. Thank you to everyone on Patreon. What's your take on this parlay? Colts -2.5. Wow, I haven't even thought of the Colts-Titans game in like 4 days. Okay, let's just hear Maddie's parlay. Okay, Colts -2.5. Rams plus 2.5. Atlanta minus 6.5. Bengals minus 6.5. Okay, Bengals, Atlanta, let's keep. Rams plus 2.5, I'm fine with. I don't know why we need to go with the Colts here. I do think they beat Tennessee. I do. I can't tell you that that's not going to hit. But why not just bring the Bucs down to -2? I mean, do we trust the Colts? And I was holding a Broncos ticket last week, and I got to be honest, that was lucky to hit, guys. Am I being wrong? Did anyone watch that Colts-Broncos game? Did anyone watch that Colts-Broncos game? Can I be honest? The Commanders should have hit easy, had all the makings of like a 10-plus point win. But can we be honest? Like, the Colts should have won that game. Even with Anthony Richardson being shit. Like, we can bake in Anthony Richardson being garbage into the result, into the handicap. But we got to be honest, like, we were lucky. We were lucky to get that, right? Or am I the only one who felt like we were lucky to get that? So I get you going back with the Colts -2.5. The Titans are terrible, but it's not about Will Levis. I'm going away from Will Levis doesn't really move me. The offensive line can't block. The defense is tired. The defense is beaten down. And I think I think in a more competitive organization, a bigger market, a more competitive owner, Callahan would be one and done. Honestly, man, like, I know no one cares. Like, viewers are going to, like, X out the video now. But I feel like the Titans and Callahan have been a disaster, and I feel like he's been the worst coach this year. Yeah, Mike, yeah, like, Colts could have easily been up 14-0 to start that game. And then the Jonathan Taylor run where he dropped the ball like Kyle Pitts. Like, come on, man. Like, it didn't get any attention. Yeah, like, that was definitely some luck, Wiz. Like, let's be honest, man. And the Broncos have gotten a lot of luck this year, and you finally saw it spiral against them in the Chargers game. Even though they made some big plays, like that interception before the first half with Herbert. It's just like, yeah, man, listen, I was holding the ticket, but I'm not beating my chest about it. That was luck, okay? That was luck. Yeah, man, and James, like, not a lot of science in that game. Like, I had to go down to NBA tier levels to try to get people not to bet the Broncos last night. I'm just not high on them. Just not high on them. Oh, Marcy, thank you for the $50 super chat. Thank you for all you do. Merry Christmas, my friend. Steak dinner is on me. Yeah, and in Brazil, like, I can fucking go to all-you-can-eat steak buffet for $50 for me and my wife. So that is a very generous donation from you. And hopefully we repay your stockings with some good bets to finish off. I do think we're going to rip this year in the playoffs. And you guys know I've always sold myself as a regular season better, okay? I've always sold myself as a regular season better. But, Mike, hear me out. I see you're in the chat. Don't you see a lot of teams we can get against in the playoffs? Like, if we get the Packers going to the Buccaneers in the first round of the playoffs, like, I think we can go hard on the Bucs. Or we get the Broncos going on the road to play a good team in the first round of the playoffs. Like, I'm getting against the Broncos. I don't care how many points they give. Thank you. I just see a lot of good matchups because the NFC is so equal this year. I think the spreads are going to be rather tight. The AFC, like, there's going to be big spreads. But then again, there's also teams I'm itching to get against in the AFC more. Like, I'm not itching to get against the Packers. Like, I'm not itching to get against the Vikings. I'm not itching to get against the Commanders. But I'll tell you what, I'm itching to get against the Broncos. I'm itching to get against the Chargers. What other team? I'm itching to get against the Chiefs. Chiefs in the playoffs, though, might be a different type of situation. I don't know if I'm not necessarily itching to get against the Texans. I think their defense could age well for the playoffs. Like I said, there's some teams I'm itching to get against. I'm itching to get against the Detroit Lions, as crazy as that sounds, if there's good opposition, because the market's not going to catch up. Like, obviously, the market's going to factor in Detroit's defensive injuries. Of course, they're going to factor that in, but they're still going to go with the data. And the data says Detroit's got a pretty good defense with an elite offense. And I feel like we might be able to get some spreads, especially if we attack it early in the week before people bet it down. You guys see what I'm saying? I'm itching to get against the Steelers. I've been itching to get against Steelers the whole year. Some of you were bold enough to get against them last week with the Eagles. I certainly wasn't. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, this playoffs, I feel like there's more stuff we can get against. And in the playoffs, I feel like that's the attitude we have to have. Like, of course, like, I can have more focused breakdowns like I did with the Chiefs-Texans or Broncos-Chargers this week, where I really just get into it. But sometimes that doesn't matter because the Chiefs get a call in the playoffs and it doesn't fucking matter. Like, they should have lost to the fucking Panthers, just to give an example. So you guys see what I'm saying, why I'm excited about the playoffs this year. And like I said, I've never sold myself as a playoff bettor. Boski, what's my highest scoring game of the week? I think Miami 49ers could be a creeping candidate, even though it's at 43.5. Obviously, the safe bet would be Lions Bears. We can't go Bengals or Browns because DTR is an absolute liability, one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of this league. Rams Jets. Like, I listen, I don't care what anyone says. I think this Jets offense is top 10. Like I said in the Chiefs-Texans video, I think the Jets offense is better than the Chiefs. I just do. So I'm going Jets Rams. Yeah, Michael Mann says, problem with the AFC, though, is we got to bet Steelers and Chiefs games. Yeah, and we need someone competent against the Steelers. Listen, man, I'm just not buying the Russell Wilson deep balls. I'm just not buying it. Like, I think there's going to be variance in that. I don't know about you guys. All right, let me get to the Patreon questions. I want on a long rant. Okay. Derek, hey bro, hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and all the best. Thank you, Derek. Thank you for all your great work and dedication this year. No, thank you, Derek. What 2 games would you take off this 7-point teaser? KC plus 3.5. Baltimore plus 0.5 point. Keep Baltimore on. Cincy minus 0.5 point. Keep Cincy on. Detroit plus 0.5 point. Philly plus 3.5. Buffalo minus 7. Green Bay minus 7. I would keep Green Bay. I can see a world where the Commanders play really good, though. I could see a world where the Commanders play really good. Okay, I would take Philly off. I would take Philly. I would take Philly and Detroit off. As crazy as that sounds. Because I do think the Texans win, but I think the Texans win by like a point or 2 or 3 points. So that's where I'm at. Hi, John. Thanks for all the great picks throughout the years. With last week, don't let people bring you down there with the hate. You can't let it affect you. Leave it in the past and just try to continue your best self. You're the best capper on YouTube. Thank you, Nick. I met Nick. Yeah, we've been phenomenal this year. And like I said, it was 2 psychos on here the thing I didn't like, and I should have been on here after the game. Like I said, I was, because I'm doing the show with Michael Mann at like fucking midnight. So I'm trying to focus on the games and focus on the injuries when we do the opening lines. So I couldn't see. There's like two psychos. And listen, they're going to say what they will about me. They're not going to like give perspective or fairness. Firstly, like no one likes slander. And secondly, like I didn't like how they started coming at you guys. Like, bro, like some of the shit I read was just like fucking just ridiculous. Like, and they're coming at you guys, and we should all be up money this year on Patreon. Like, if you're not up money this year, I'm up a lot of money this year. I'll be honest about it. And if I wasn't, I would tell you. But yeah, man, like I just didn't like some of the stuff when they started coming at you. Like I said, it was two psychos. It was two psychos. And one of the guys, actually both of them, I kicked them off before in previous years. And then they come crawling back. One guy had his wife send me an Instagram message in September saying, oh, he's sorry. He really wants to get on, and he doesn't understand internet etiquette because he's 50 years old. Like, okay, like I let him on. And then the other guy like came back with like a tearful apology when I kicked him off 2 years ago. And it's just like, yeah, man, it's like, damn, man, like, if you hate it so much, why do you come crawling back and have your wife send me like long messages? But yeah, man, thank you, Nick. Cadfire, Lawson, have a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great fucking Christmas too, Cad. Soccer question. What do you think about fading both Manchester teams tomorrow? My Villa lean is more of an indictment of where City is. I agree. City is shocking. Where I think Bournemouth is outright better than United right now. Probably take each double chance unless you believe differently. Thanks. Well, I don't know if I want to get against United right now, but Bournemouth, like they're fucking good, man. And I actually really like some of the, I actually really like Bournemouth when they're against bigger teams. And obviously Manchester United is a bigger team. Manchester United is still more talented than Bournemouth, but I kind of agree they're a better team at the moment. I would not get against United in this, but I would go Villa money line. I would not go Villa double chance. I would go Villa money line and over 1.5 goals to make it. I think that I was actually looking at that today. So that's going to make it like probably a plus 480. So I'll go Villa money line because you never know when Manchester City is going to respond. The United one, I would leave it to there because I actually think they're looking better. I watched their last 2 games. Cows, Lawson, blessing to you and the fam. Thank you, Cows. Hope you and your family have a great Christmas as well. Should I ride with the Jags? I don't think Oakland's going to give up the number 2 pick, 49ers and Steelers. Okay, 49ers, I would caution you against. Steelers with the points, I guess, if that's what's on your plate, Cows. I guess you could take them to cover. I would like to hear your rationale on why you want to target the Steelers, though. Why can't we just leave that to next week? The 49ers, like, I don't have as strong as a lean to the Dolphins as I had before. Okay, about Oakland. Listen, I don't think teams, how can I say this? GMs and owners will tank. They'll trade players. They'll trade players like Devontae Adams. They'll make weird personnel moves. They'll save cap for next year. Hell, they might even tell a coach to bench a good quarterback to put in a backup quarterback for draft position. But in terms of the players who are going out on the field, in terms of Antonio Pierce, no, Antonio Pierce wants to win the fucking game. He wants to win the fucking game. And him and Aiden O'Connell are going to win the fucking game, Cows. They're going to win the game. Do I want to bet it? No. If I didn't have 4 other bets or 5 other bets I liked, would I be betting it? Yeah. I just don't see the identity. Like, listen, I've criticized Antonio Pierce a lot, and I've been harsh on him. And some of his coaching moves especially in game with the punts, the 4th-and-1 punts, have driven me crazy. And I was on record on Instagram saying they should have started Aiden O'Connell week fucking 1. It's on record. But Antonio Pierce, the guys are going to go out and fight, and they're going to claw, and they're going to battle, and they're going to win that game. I just don't want to be the one betting it. But I'm sure some degen in the chat will be throwing 1,000 on Aiden O'Connell for me. I think Aiden O'Connell has a big game. And here's the thing. I'm Wiz, you've been following me for a long time. I was on the Aiden O'Connell train. He should have started week 1. And Wiz, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can criticize Antonio Pierce all we want. And I just don't think they're going to lay down this game. And here's the issue with Aiden O'Connell, and Wiz, you can get back to us. I've watched I missed one Raiders game this year where he started. Okay, my bad. I try to watch every game of the year, but, okay, like, I don't think you guys want me watching Raiders games when there's other games we want to bet. But Aiden O'Connell's big issue has been holding the ball too long, right? But I know when you plug in Madden, I've been using this analogy a long time, but follow me. When you plug in Madden, you got Trayvon Walker, you got Josh Allen Hines, and you would think, yeah, the Jags are going to rush the passer. They're going to hit the quarterback. They're going to be there all day. And Aiden O'Connell's biggest weakness is holding the ball too long. Well, guys, the Jags don't get a pass rush, and they can't cover anyone. And so, yeah. Man. Yeah, I like the Raiders that one, Cows. I do. Because like I said, like, we'll see what Wiz says, because he's probably watched every pitiful snap of Aiden O'Connell's career, but his big issue is holding the ball long, and I don't know if that's a big issue against the Jags. They're not going to be able to run it against the Jags, so I am looking towards some Brock Bowers player props to give a little hint. And I think Aiden's the guy to give him the ball. Hound Lawson, what's up, bro? Off the script question, since it's the holiday season, but what was your favorite gift as a kid? Hoping for a bounce back week. Let's get this money. I'm counting on this week. I think it's going to be a good week, man. My favorite gift as a kid was probably like the PlayStation 3. Or one time when I went to the Meadowlands to watch Chris Carter and Randy Moss beat the Giants' ass. And Chris Carter threw a touchdown pass to Randy Moss, which was ridiculous. That would be my pick. And yeah, Hound, take care of the kids, get them some presents. Maureen, hey, John, am I crazy thinking the Bengals win by double digits? No, DTR is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. And we won bets with him last year. How did we do it? I don't know. DTR is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. Let's see if we got any more Patreon questions. And then maybe we have time for one. Maybe we have time for guests. I just have like maybe 25 minutes. I think we got more questions though, so I might not be able to get a guest on. Okay. We got more questions. J-Bar, what's up, Lawson? You going Eagles this week? J-Bar, I'm not betting them. I'm not liking the hook either. I can't help but remember how limited Jaden Daniels was last time they matched up, and Philly's been rolling. I want to go hard on the Eagles. What do you think? Yeah, and I get your inclination, and the Eagles secondary is really good. The Eagles are pretty damn good against the run. But also we need to remember that was Jaden Daniels after that rib injury, and we're seeing Jaden Daniels run the rock more every single week. And then we got a Commanders defense that is improving. And we have to remember, man, there was 3 deep passes to Terry McLaurin, and 2 of them hit his hands, and they would have been touchdowns. And maybe our perspective would be a lot different going into this week if one of those just landed and Terry McLaurin was wide open on 2 of them. But I feel like Jaden Daniels is playing really well, and they're going to need to run him. And that's the line of attack I'm looking for this game. And I also think the Commanders defense did really well with Saquon Barkley the first 3 quarters. I mean, Jaden Daniels really didn't do anything that game. And there was a bad 4th down decision. The Commanders kicked that field goal, they would have been in the lead. And then they stopped Saquon the first 3 quarters and they kept punting it back. And then their defense wore down. But I don't think the Eagles are guaranteed money this week. I don't want to bet them with the hook, but I understand if someone does. I understand if someone does. I think the Commanders can stop Saquon Barkley. And then it comes down to Hurts. Richard Lockhart, 2 best dogs this week and best teaser. Well, it's not a great week for underdogs, but I would go Texans as an underdog. And I would also think about, in terms of underdogs, I don't want to say the Panthers. Oh, no. I don't want to say the Panthers. But it's not a great week for underdogs, because I don't think the Titans are going to do fuck all. I don't think the Jets are going to beat the Rams. Obviously, the Patriots are going to have a hard time with the Bills. I don't think the Jags beat the Raiders. I think the Cowboys get fucking clobbered by the Bucs. Yeah, man, it's not a great week for underdogs. I don't know if I would just attack the total in the Hawks-Vikings game. So yeah, it's a terrible week for underdogs. I would go Texans. That would be the only underdog I'm genuinely excited about. Yeah, no, BNT, I get it. The fundamentals of the Rams going to New York isn't great. That's what I'm worried about. And the best teaser, I would go, here's my 6-point teaser. Bengals, 2.5. Falcons, -2. Bring the Bucs down to a pick 'em. You don't even need to use the 6 points. And then I would probably bring the Texans up. That would be my best teaser. To be honest. Ron Borkwin, Merry Christmas, Lawson, to you and your better half. I got nothing this week. Waiting for your picks. Ron, I think we got some good movement this week. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you're doing good, Ron. Thank you for the Christmas wishes, my man. Okay, J-Law, thanks for all that you do. Can you place your laptop where you are talking into the camera? When you are talking away from the camera, it drives me nuts. Why, Wheezy? Why? Wheezy, if I put the laptop here, I'll try it next time. If I put the laptop in front of the camera, it will completely block my face and you'll be looking at the laptop. You know what I'm saying? The laptop's kind of big, man. But I'll try it. Maybe I'll change the angle next time. But yeah, because I need to read the questions. I need to read the chat. And I got pretty good eyes. But man. Why does it bother you, Weezy? But I get it. My wife has autistic tendencies like that too. So I get it. It's just, I do want to know. I do want to know. What's up, Warren? Yeah, Warren. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your night, man. Got home from work. I do want to hear Weezy's rationale why it bothers him, though. I heard him complain about that before. I just want to hear a more in-depth complaint. John, I know parlays are taboo, but I got people harassing me for a 3-team parlay this week. Gun to your head, would you snub your nose at this ticket? Eagles -3.5, Rams -3, Tampa -4. Sub Rams or Tampa with the Miami San Fran over. I would not sub Tampa out of that. I would sub the Eagles out of that, to be honest, with the hook. And when I do parlays, I'm more or less trying to do same game parlays where I'm going money line and where I'm going with some player props and going some alt player props. But yeah, I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad. I would just go like money line on those. Like I think the Eagles beat the Commanders, but I also think the Commanders can keep it close, and I think the Eagles might need a field goal late to win it. Okay, John, just want to point out to everyone to stay away from Rams. Not sure if you know about Rodgers and Ryan Clark beef going on, but I could see Rodgers going nuclear. My favorite play of the week is James Cook over rushing yards. James Cook over rushing yards makes sense. I was actually looking at that when I was planning the video for the props. With the Rodgers Ryan Clark thing, I did see that. But also, like, Rodgers had started playing good once it looked like he might not play for the Jets anymore. I just think Rodgers is always motivated. And I felt like Ryan Clark ended up looking bad in that beef, like, because none of us really hate Aaron Rodgers. Like, I know they want us to hate Aaron Rodgers. I just, like, don't hate him, and I never hated him. And I also think the Jets are dangerous. Like I said, like, it's a top 10 offense, as crazy as it sounds. I think the offense is better than the Chiefs, for instance. But that game for me is more about the Jets defense. And I haven't seen them stop the run the whole year, even when they were healthier on defense, even when they had Mosley. Even when their defensive ends were, even when they had Jermaine Johnson, who's very good. I know they got Hassan Reddick, but he doesn't stop the run. Quentin Williams with a hamstring. But I agree with you. Like, I do think there's caution that needs to be had because the Rams have been a topsy-turvy team this year. But also, like, I haven't backed the Rams when they've had one of their bad situations. Like, I didn't back the Rams against the Dolphins. We bet the Dolphins. I didn't back the Rams against the 49ers, even though I picked them, but even though they won. Like, I haven't been on the receiving end of a Rams lashing this year. Every time I backed them, they've been good. But I also think caution is necessary. Out of my 5 favorite plays this week, they're number 5 for the reason you stated. But about that beef, I don't know if that, like, really moves Rodgers at that point. But I get what you're saying. Because when Ryan Clark normally makes the call, it goes the other way, right? Like, I'm just not a big Ryan Clark guy, although I do like the pivot. They have had some really good episodes of the pivot. Let's be honest about it. But yeah, man, Ryan Clark on ESPN is a fucking disaster, in my opinion. But I don't watch it that much, so maybe he's gotten better. Like, I don't watch ESPN, like, so maybe I've watched like 30 minutes of ESPN this year, minus the McAfee show. But I'm more like a McAfee guy during the off season. Yeah, Rodgers, dude. I never bought into the narrative that Rodgers is shit. I've never bought into that narrative. Okay, we got through all the Patreon questions. We'll get a guest up. We'll get guest on next week. My bad about that, guys. Christmas preparations and all that. I want to just make sure I didn't miss a question. Okay, Chris, anyone who wants to come down to Hooters 8801 International Drive will experience the John Lawson Money Factory. My valued guests and my staff are all John Lawson supporters and believers. Come get this money. Yeah, dude, Hooters is fucking always has been underrated. Always has been underrated. Their wing sauce is really good. You know, I've never been like a big Hooters guy because the women who work there, like, I've never been like that type of dude. Like, you know, I guess because I've always had like the internet and, you know, yeah, Chris, we got to get, maybe we can get Chris and Mike and Lauren on real quick. Yeah, for the wings. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think the women there are like overrated. Like, I think people go a little bit too wild with that. Like, you guys know what I'm saying. It's just, I don't know, man. That's Okay. Did I miss a question from Jerome Taylor? Let me see. Jerome's my guy, man. I love Jerome. Hey, John, happy holidays. 3 6-point teaser. What's your best 3? Okay. Falcons, Bengals. Okay, for a 6-pointer. What do you think, Duke? What do you think, Duke? What do you think, Duke? Bucks. So like the Bucks doesn't make sense for a 6-point teaser. I just think, dude, if the Bucks don't win this game, then fuck me, Jerome. Like it's Bucks money line. You'll get a little bit of value on that. Bengals, Falcons. If that doesn't hit, then and if you need some Saturday action, substitute the Bucks for the Texans. Or I do like bringing the I do like bringing the Ravens down to -1. I don't know about your guys' perspective on that. I don't know about your guys' perspective on that, but I do like bringing the Ravens down to 1. So let me give the official. Bengals -2. If you get the Bengals at -9, don't do it. But if the Bengals are at -8.5, -8, give me the Bengals, give me the Falcons, and bring the Texans up as well. Like there's a lot, but Bengals, Falcons, Bucks is the official. Also think about Texans, think about Ravens. Maybe a nice little Texans +9, maybe a little bit of a Texans +9.5, Ravens -1 for your Saturday viewing pleasure. If you don't want to bet the side in either of those games, like, does that sound like the worst thing in the world? Yeah, I'm a big cat dog person too, Marine. So yeah, my cat's laying down here. So I was asking him what he thought. Like I said, like if it doesn't, if that Bengals, Falcons, Bucks doesn't hit, then fuck me. But yeah, Chris, let me send it to the Patreon. Get you guys on real quick. I can do 15 minutes. Let me just send it. I'm gonna send it on the Patreon. Man, it's crazy to think this season is almost over. It's crazy to think this season is almost over. Let me find Chris. Where's Chris? Okay, I think Chris. Okay. And I don't know if Lauren's still in the chat, so I'm gonna send her an email anyways. And I think we got a question from Taurus. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see Taurus's question. Lawson, Saquon has always torn the Commanders. He scored 2 touchdowns the last time. He will do the same. I don't know. Are we losing perspective of that game? Yo, Jerome, what's up, man? First time I seen you in the YouTube comments. Did you get it? I was a little bit scattered shot. With that. Taurus, I don't know, man. I don't know. Are we forgetting the first 3 quarters, the Commanders-Eagles game? And I get it. Like the star running back always goes off in the 4th quarter after wearing the opposing team down. Like, I get it. Like, I don't want to be like a new age NFL guy. Like, we get it. Like, that's how the running game works. But I felt like the Commanders were ultra competitive before that game got out of control. And I felt like the front 7 was ultra competitive against Saquon Barkley as much as you can be. I don't know, man. I don't know. He had that one big run to cap the game, but wasn't it like 13-12 when Dan Quinn and Cliff kind of like fumbled the game away when they could have kicked a field goal to go in the lead, and then the Commanders' defense broke down? Am I remembering correctly, Taurus? Like, I don't feel like that was like a Saquon Barkley Hallmark card type game. And he's had a lot of them this year. Oh, the fucking Red Wolves is garbage, Rake. They're going to go back to the old name. They should go no names or the old name. Like, they're already thinking about the new name. Like, Dan Quinn already used the hoodie. I don't even know, like, YouTube's, like, views on it, so I don't want to say it and lose my channel. Like, I was always kind of disgusted about them going away from the old name. I don't know about you guys. Yo,
hey,
Mike,
man,
like it, man.
Thank you. Yours as well.
Thank you, bro. All right, go quick, man.
Okay. I got some long shots this week that I want to run through with you. Let's talk about this Texans-Chiefs game first.
Did you see my video firstly?
I have not yet.
Okay.
But probably good that I go into this without. I think we're on the same page on this.
Okay, go on.
I know I'm the resident Texans hater, but there is no reason they should not win this game on paper. The Chiefs' tackle situation is one of the worst in the league. It's probably down there if Tennessee's is one of the worst. And the Texans have two of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Mahomes is not going to be scrambling like he normally is, I don't think. That injury did not look like an injury that you just walk off in a week and are 100%. So I think they're going to get pressure on him nonstop. I think they're going to really control the trenches in this game. And on the other side of the ball, who is going to cover these receivers for Houston? Like, I mean, these guys should in theory be getting wide open on this Chiefs secondary every time. So, I know the Chiefs are weird. The Chiefs always find stupid ways to win games, but in theory, the Texans should win and cover this. And I think they could do it by, 5 points.
Before I get Chris on to give something he likes, firstly, thinking about doing a Will Anderson over 0.5 sacks on the player props, because the problem area is left tackle for you. That's one thing you pointed out before the Chargers game, correct?
Oh, yes. And it's been evident every week since.
Correct.
Well, it's both of their tackles aren't good.
No, yeah, but
the left
Taylor can at least put hands on someone.
Right, yeah. The left side is where the issue really is. But the Chiefs' tackle situation as a whole is something that the Texans should be able to take advantage of no matter what side those guys are on.
So outside of McDuffie, no one can cover. I've been saying that the whole year. Okay. And there's a reason why Bryce and everyone tore him up. I mean, and also I was trying to get across in that video. I had to repeat myself. I've been repeating myself for the last 7 weeks. But ever since I haven't seen the Chiefs defense play a good game since week 7. And every quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, Minshew, Bryce, everyone's torn them up. And Herbert could have torn them up. They left a lot of meat on the table. He left more meat on the table than anyone. But anyways, but that's where I want to go with that. We'll let Chris come in. What's up, Chris? Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
How are you, bro?
Michael. How you doing, Mike?
Love the shirt.
Yeah, it's my Punisher shirt. I got to do laundry.
Oh, God.
You and me both, bud.
So, KC, they've been lucky all year. They're not as good as advertised, but they have a lot of help from the refs. And I kind of feel that pushing into the playoffs, they're going to get a lot more help from the refs. Not trying to say that anything is fixed. I just think that they're narrative driven in the league. Taylor Swift and this and that, I just like to. There was a couple of games that we made money on, but when it comes to the playoffs, I'm probably going to fade those games just because I think they're not fairly reffed.
No, Chris, I get you. And I saw you said like this game isn't worth betting on in the comments, and I agree with you. But I do want to try to sway your opinion with one thing Michael Mann said. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me try to sway your opinion, because the Texans, I do think they have a top 5 pass rush. I did say they're top 5 defense, but does that even mean anything? We don't have any elite defenses anymore this year, right? You guys kind of are following that argument. All right. So throw out me saying Texans are a top 5 defense, but I do think it's a top 5 pass rush, which fucking matters, right? So, and also Patty Mahomes' sack avoidance this year has been bad. And also, didn't he get banged up 3 weeks ago too? And then we started seeing more sacks. We saw the Chargers getting to him, and then that was the key factor in that game. I felt was the Chargers pass rush. So also, I don't think this injury is as bad as everyone thought, But let me just throw this at you. When you hear high ankle sprain, even though they say mild, I fucking think that's terrible. I don't know about you guys. I just think that's bad fucking news.
Well, just watch the replay of the injury.
Dude,
Yeah, they carried him off. I mean, not
Yeah,
off the
like-
field, but
My friend who
it's not a fucking joke. A low
Yeah.
ankle sprain, I don't care. Like, he'll tape it up. He's a gladiator. But a high ankle sprain's a fucking big deal. In my opinion, they said mild, but fuck, man.
Well, you're avoiding the rush. He's one that runs the ball a lot, especially when he's in trouble. And then plus, planting that foot to throw. You know what I'm saying? I don't know exactly which ankle it was, but either way, planting on it or releasing the ball and going from back to front. I mean, it affects your accuracy. So depending on how bad it is, I don't know. I don't know what kind of a grade it was in the sprain, but it's definitely not good. It's not helping their cause. The offense has been anemic really all year. There's a couple of games that they won that they should have lost, blocked punts and this and that. Or blocked field goals.
Oh, that one against Denver where Michael Mann said it was illegal and he was actually right.
Yeah.
And our
Yeah, it was an illegal formation.
Fucking game. They don't say anything, and Michael Mann has to be the one who tells me.
That's what I'm talking about with these refs. I mean, they're the darlings of the league. They're in all the commercials, State Farm, and this and that. It's just I don't know.
In fairness, I will say, Chiefs are not the only team that's gotten away with that this year. The Packers did the same thing the Packers also had an illegal formation on their kick against the Bears, but that's another story.
We have the teaser for
this is another story for another day. But back to this game, I want to make it very clear. I am on the Texans -2. So you got to move this to -2 and get the best odds you can. We're not getting the spread. We're going all the way. Texans are winning. We're betting it or we're not touching it. So let's go Stroud. I never thought I'd say it, but this is if the Texans lose this game like 16-10 or some shit like that, I am never putting respect on CJ Stroud's name again. I'm letting you know right now. So the Texans should win this game. Just win it. It shouldn't be super complicated. Just get it done.
And
I think their offense is better.
Yeah, no. And before Chris goes on, because Chris, I'll let you go off on your bets. Like, Mike, also one thing I was looking into the Chiefs running game, which is one thing I missed on the video. Chiefs running game hasn't been good in 6 weeks, by the way.
No, they haven't. And their stats look good because Mahomes has been running.
Yeah.
So they'll get like 100 rushing yards a game, but 35 of them are Mahomes.
Yeah. And
so they're
Leo,
not a good
wake
unit.
up. Your Ravens are on tomorrow against the Steelers. Aren't you looking forward to it? Aren't you looking forward to how the Steelers can find a way to just steal another game?
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Chris,
my other one.
Well, I gotta say that game scares me. I'm not playing that game either. I'm gonna watch it and enjoy it. But I mean, do I think the Ravens win that game? Yeah. I mean, should they cover that 6.5? I believe they should. Will they? I don't know, man. I don't know. I was in Discord and on Patreon talking about the Miami Dolphins. I like the over in that game. But their offensive line, they're on their third offensive tackle on the left side. You saw that Tua was under pressure all day. He threw 3 picks. I mean, when was the last time you seen him have a game like that? 60. He rated 60. I mean, it was just. And I think that Shanahan is his daddy, and I think he knows. The rest of the league knows what they're doing on offense. The Miami Dolphins at this point. You think Shanahan doesn't know? What kind of defensive schemes to draw up where the Tua won't have any time at all. Achane had no yards rushing. They stuffed the line of scrimmage. I know that San Fran's banged up. I kind of like the over just because it's really low. But I don't think that Miami's going to come anywhere near sniffing winning that game. I would avoid betting it.
That's what about the over. Like, I don't want to overthink it. It's just 2 good quarterbacks. It's low for 2 good quarterbacks. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I just
think that they get outscored, and I know that's hard to believe, but Miami's defense hasn't been looking too great either.
No. All right, Chris. What's your best bet?
Okay, so I like Tampa -4.
Yeah.
I'm not touching it. Dallas is a weird team, man. Like, I know their record is bad.
They just played a team that was worse than them last week. That's all.
No, and I completely agree with that. My point is Dallas has played very competitive football over the last 6.5 weeks 6.5 weeks, and I don't think their record is reflective of how good or bad they are.
Yeah,
But
I
here's
feel like
the
we
thing,
really don't.
Mike.
Who do
Okay,
they
let
play?
me ask you a question, Mike. The whole reason why they've been playing competitive football, which you're right about, okay, but they've been getting 130, 140 rushing yards a game. Is that going to happen against Tampa Bay?
Probably not, but
Yeah.
I do think
Okay.
Cooper. So here's the thing about Todd Bowles, though. He loves to blitz and he loves to play soft coverage, which is not. I don't view that as a good duo. And like you've been saying all year, Cooper Rush is throwing these 2-yard dump offs. You let the receiver run after the catch, and I feel like they could eat with that in this game.
It's crazy. I
That
don't know why a team hasn't stopped. All right, let Chris go on. Let Chris go on.
yeah, sorry,
Uh,
Greg.
Rams -3.
Makes
On board.
sense. Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
And I like Philly. I like Philly 3.5. I know that the Jets sometimes show up, but I mean, not the Jets. What am I talking about?
The
Yeah.
Jets.
Oh yeah, it is the
Jets.
Jets.
Yeah, Jets are playing.
Yeah, yeah. I like Philly. So I like
And
Philly
Lauren,
three
I
and a half.
sent you an invite. Yeah, like the Philly one, like I said, I'm just I get it. I get why people want Philly. Like my inclination was that was the first bet of the week.
I felt like Philly was like something you had to get at -3. Like
Yeah,
you couldn't be late on that.
I just I don't know why I think they're going to stop Saquon and why I'm worried about that because, okay, hear me out on the Philadelphia Eagles and I'll let Lauren and Mike give his long shot. Here's what I'm worried about. Okay, so Lauren, we're getting background. I'm going to mute Lauren real quick. So here's what I'm worried about. Now, we know in 80s, 90s NFL, you could just fucking pound people. And if your run game was explosive, you could rely on that. And then I remember watching my Vikings with Adrian Peterson, and it was almost a liability with him at times, even if he would get 150 rushing yards. Because sometimes you get second and 13s, then you're fucked. But they also have a quarterback and 2 really good wide receivers. And Hurts actually played really good last week. But I do wonder, can the Commanders stop him? Because maybe I was watching a different game on that Thursday night because everyone was trying to riz me about it. But I felt like the Commanders were rather competitive on defense against the Eagles. I felt like they did a pretty damn good job containing Saquon Barkley until that fourth quarter once the game got out of control. But that would be my only worry. Obviously, Hurts is more than capable of just whipping apart opposing defenses. I just feel like he's been average this year. And that's why I worry about the hook. But I don't know, man. I'm overthinking that game. So
I don't know.
Yeah,
They're
my
trending up. I think their offense is trending up last few weeks. I mean, he
and
almost had a flawless game last week. You know, it hurts.
my thing is I don't think you can replicate stopping Saquon Barkley like that every time you play the Eagles. I don't think that's something replicable that you can just do every time you play Philadelphia.
it might just be too dominant. Anyways, Lauren, what are you betting?
I love Arizona, and I love Philly. I love Tampa. Who else do I like? I like Cincy. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not a homer, but I like the Saints to cover. 14 seems a little too extravagant to me for Green Bay.
Green Bay's
yeah.
at home, right? Is Green Bay at
Yeah,
home?
it's
No.
going to snow. That's what got me to change my pick from Tuesday. So
Well, that's why I think 14 is too much. Because, I mean, you figure the game's going to go under, right? So, if you...
I don't know.
I see a 27-6 Packers just rolling.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't
Lauren,
know.
I would pick this. I pick the Saints to cover, but there's no way I'm betting that.
No, I'm saying I think 14 is just too much for Green Bay to give anybody. I don't even know that I would trust them to cover 14 against the Giants.
No, it's not a team I want to roll with. Because when you get into 14, that's almost like talking alts. And I don't know if I don't think Green Bay is a team I like laying points with. I don't know.
Not too tough. That means they got to cover by 3 scores.
Yeah.
So,
you
yeah.
said you like the Bengals also. Are you getting 8.5 points? Is that too much?
I
8.5?
bet it at 7.5.
Now it's at eight
By
and a
the
half. Is
way,
that too much? Is 8.5
No,
too much? No.
aren't they?
by the way,
Aren't they playing
screw.
DTR?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Screw the Browns for benching Jameis Winston.
I know.
I
That's
I
know.
don't
what I'm
know
I
saying.
know,
who
right?
thought that was a good idea.
Why though?
Like I know he could be a pick six waiting to happen sometimes, but he's gonna make you far more competitive than anything DTR is gonna put out there, and that's
Is
a
it draft
fact.
positioning? Is it like they're trying to get like the second or third pick? I don't know.
Listen, I think they actually, I don't know, Mike. We were talking about this when they remember against the Bengals the first time.
Yes,
They put DTR in the first time.
over
And then like,
Jameis.
yeah,
Like I
we had
think
go on.
they may actually think that this is a good football decision, which is concerning.
Mike, like I said, I'm not like a big PFF guy and EPA guy, although EPA has helped me a little bit this year. Dude, the only quarterback worse than DTR is Ryan fucking Finley
Mm-hmm.
in EPA. And I fuck quarterback rating. EPA is, I think, a way better showcase of stats. Ryan fucking Finley. John Skeleton is better than DTR. Like, that's scary. Like, and how do we win bets with DTR last year? I don't know. But yeah, it's concerning. And I'm concerned about the Browns. Period.
Yeah, and
And
if you're benching
Matt,
Jameis, what is your plan for next season? Are you gonna
Draft me a
stroll
quarterback.
Deshaun? What are you gonna throw Deshaun Watson back out there and draft a rookie and then throw him in?
yeah, that's what they're
Yeah,
going to do.
if
Like,
they're giving up on Watson, then that's another story. But if they're not giving up on Watson, then I don't know what they're doing this week, because I
and
almost feel like they've given up on Watson by putting DTR in there.
Isn't he going to jail?
No, he's not.
he's
He's
out for
got
the year.
another lawsuit, but he's not. He's good. But yeah, here's the thing, Chris, with the 7.5 to 8.5. For me, that doesn't concern me because that's not a key number, but that's like I said, like when I posted it on Patreon, like 7.5, like was posted for a reason. But I don't think you're gonna like lose value at 8.5. Like
No,
not a key
not at all.
number. And like what game like ends like 8 points? Think
Yeah.
about the Super Bowl squares, right? Like
Yeah,
what game
I know.
ends in an 8-point duel? Watch, finishes 8, and then like, yeah, like you know what I'm saying? But like I think
A safety or something.
Here we go. Here
Yeah.
here comes the trolling.
yeah, I know. Watch, ends like 8 points, and then like, it's, but yeah, like, and here's the thing, Lauren. I'm concerned also about the Browns' defense this year.
Oh, hardcore.
They play man to man, and yet, like,
Yeah.
I'm even seeing Denzel Ward not get close to anyone.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, if Denzel Ward's not covering anyone, like, who's going to cover anyone? And yeah, so that's where I'm at, man. Like, I think that's safe. I think that's might be the best.
I'm probably
bet.
going to play it.
Yeah, I'm all over. I already played it. I played
I was
it
just
like.
waiting. I was waiting till Sunday to see what the line looked like.
And the other
Chris-
thing too, can
Go on,
somebody
go
tell
on.
me? Oh, sorry. Can
No,
somebody
go on.
make sense out of this Rams Jets game for me? Because make it make sense. I have absolutely zero input on this game, and there's so much talk about it, and I can't make heads or tails of it.
I like the Rams. I mean, all day with the 3 points.
I like
It's
the
a
Rams
3.5.
too, but I want to mention something. I
It's
don't know if
3.5.
you guys remember when Houston was +2 at the Jets on Halloween, and the Texans were playing like they were playing far better football than the Jets were going into that game, and everybody who was anyone was betting on Houston on Halloween night, and then it
Yep.
came back to like bite us in the ass. I hope this isn't like one of those situations again, but yeah, on paper, like I love the Rams here.
That's
I mean,
why I
they're
hate
playing.
the Jets.
They've quietly been playing like as one of the best teams in football since like week 5.
You see, the
Well,
Jets win. The Jets win when they're not supposed to, and then they lose when they're not supposed to.
that's exactly why I'm asking this question. Because isn't it? It's 3.5. Not just 3. There's a
It's
hook there.
3. It's 3 on every book now.
Oh well, it was 3.5. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's been fluctuating, so it's going to
But,
back down because it's a bad spot for the Rams, hypothetically, right?
Because it's
But,
cold in New York. I mean,
yeah,
And they're
And
flying
Rams-
across the country.
yeah, and also the Rams have the extra rest. And here's the thing that gives me security in it. Like, I think Rodgers is going to play great. Like, prop show will have
do
some
too.
Jets again. But yeah, like even with that said, like I just think the Rams are going to run the ball. And like Mike said, since week 5, week six, the Rams have been very good. And also when the Rams have like Nakua, Cup healthy, with Williams healthy, they're a good fucking team, man.
yeah. Can the Jets cover them?
I don't like they got Sauce Gardner and Reed this year, but
Yeah,
have they
he's back.
covered
He's
anyone?
playing.
Has Sauce been good? I don't think he's been great.
Nope.
this
Sauce
year.
has been terrible this year.
Yeah, and he's been injured a lot, but he is playing this week. Not that it matters. I'm just saying. He's been hurt.
Yeah, and like the main equate, like I got worried about both of them healthy, but then again, Reed has like led the league in penalties at corner. Like he was an absolute disaster against the Dolphins. Just one example. He's been a disaster every week. But
So that's
also
the other thing. Talking about penalties between the Jets and Cleveland, those two get the most penalties I've ever seen in my life.
no,
and that-
Lauren. That's why I get on here every week and say I'm not trying to be a stat guy or a data guy, but I think the Jets are a top 10 offense. Like I eventually have to just take the penalties out of it and just say they're a top 10 offense because
And that's the thing about Cleveland. And that's the thing about Cleveland. Did you not see penalty, flag? Like their games are so slow because every other play there's a flag.
Pretty much.
Baltimore's
so-
really bad at it too.
And
Yeah.
the Jets are a poorly coached team. So, like, if this gets down, like, to the fourth quarter, they'll just throw it away. Like, they got really lucky against the Jags last week. Like, everyone's kind of forgetting. Like, they got lucky. And I wanted to bet the Jets. Like, let's be honest, that was a lucky cover from them.
Yeah.
Not that anyone watched it, but there's.
Are you on Zona? Is everybody on Zona?
I don't even want to pick that game. Like I just kind of skipped it for a reason. Like I wanted to get some more time on it, but then I'm like, I really liked the first half over. I think it was 21.5. And I really liked that first half over. Then I'm like, I don't know. Like, are the Panthers going to do anything? Or are they going to try to run the ball? Because I just saw Bryce throw the ball like 50 times last week, and I didn't sign up for that.
Well,
Here's my deal.
They were down by 20 at the first.
No, you didn't watch the game. They were doing it in the second quarter when it was like easily a close game. Like they were in 1st and 10 consistently and trying to play action and chuck it deep.
The first 3 drives, it looked really good when they were running it, and they were getting a push, and they were
And
good
you
on
can
the
run
play
on
action
Dallas.
rollout.
That's the thing is you can run on Dallas. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
that game was there. That game was there for Carolina to win. They just kind of lost it.
Yeah,
They lost by a shit ton.
You didn't watch the game then.
Yeah, Lauren. Like, either way, like you lose a bet. I don't like. Here's the thing I don't like on Patreon. Listen, you lose a bet. It doesn't matter if you lose it by fucking 50 points or like a half point. Like
exactly.
That's what I don't get. Like, why does it matter how? Like, honestly, like that's one thing I just don't get. I've never like understood. Like, you lose it by 30 points or you lose it by a half a point. What fucking difference does it make?
0.
Yeah,
Right.
he still gets the money.
Here's my thing though. I do. As long as the Cardinals just give the ball to James Conner, there is nothing the Panthers are going to do to stop that. Like they cannot stop the run for the life of them. So I think as long as they do that, and as long as they do that consistently, like they'll win. The only thing that kind of scares me with this game is I do feel like this Panthers offense is going to have a bounce back game. Dave Canales pretty much came out and said, and this is what I like about Dave Canales. He came out and said straight up, "Hey, look, I got outcoached. Like I called a terrible game. This one's on me." And I respect that. And I think you're going to see a lot of Chuba Hubbard this week. I think you're going to see a more rational approach on offense, and that's why I'm not betting it.
What's your
I think
other
Arizona's going to win the game, but you just don't know what team is going to show up.
So they're not Lawson. My 2 long shots.
Before, it's just a comment on Chris's point. The home road splits for the Cardinals have been absolutely horrendous this year, by the way. All right, go on.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 long shots this week, and neither are spread picks. So brace yourself. Number 1, same game. Trey McBride has not scored a touchdown all year. As we learned last week, the Panthers do not care if you're CeeDee Lamb, if you're Mike Evans. You will not get extra attention if you are a good player facing the Panthers. So this is the week. Trey McBride will score his first touchdown. It's like plus 750 right now. Just throw a few bucks on it and see what happens. The other long
Plus
shot.
750?
Yeah, it was
get
plus
on that.
700 on Hard Rock.
I can get on that.
But and he hasn't scored all year, so that's why it's so high. But this is going to be the game where he scores. Like I thoroughly believe that.
Mike, that's
Why?
fucking hilarious.
Why is it this game?
Oh, can I tell you why?
Yes.
Firstly, what Mike said, it doesn't matter who you are, CeeDee Lamb, best tight end in the league, top 5 tight end in the league, they will not give you extra attention.
The Panthers do not care. They do not care.
There was a play in the red zone last week. CeeDee Lamb is in the slot, okay? And you got J.C. Horn, one of the better corners in the league, and you got other players in the secondary who are fine. Like, if they put Xavier Woods to safety on him, fine. Life goes on. But they put the worst safety one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb. The safety is shaded here. CeeDee Lamb is here. CeeDee Lamb just runs a little to the corner to the pylon, and then they expect that safety, their worst safety, according to Michael Mann, to cover that.
I want to emphasize, too, this was not like CeeDee Lamb just ran to the right spot in the zone. This was a designated, like, man coverage, cover zero blitz call that they had this safety on CeeDee Lamb for. That's how bad. Like, I know every team, every fan base wants one of their coordinators fired. I thoroughly believe. Yeah, but I think Panthers fans have a case here. Like, at a certain point, you're never going to succeed if you're doing stuff like that. But okay.
Or did you see all the quick screens they let CeeDee Lamb catch?
Playing 10 yards off the ball as if that's not what Dallas has done all year. Yeah. I don't want to get into it, but okay.
Like,
other long shot bet.
The data, like Cooper Rush is throwing faster than any quarterback in the league. Yet we get fucking burnt on 10 wide receiver screens. Like, fuck me. That's the same thing with the Chargers last night. When I did the video, I looked like a genius calling the Marvin Mims plus 2.5. I said they're going to throw him screens. Fucking 3 screens to him. The Chargers get beat on like a 50-yarder. That's what they do every week. Like, I don't even watch. I watch every game, but like, come on, man. Like, I'm not like a defensive coordinator in the league. Like, and I knew Marvin Mims was going to get like fucking 3 screens. Like, fuck me, man.
So,
okay,
Michael,
so here's the other thing. Everybody's
anytime touchdown.
Everybody's worried about Alvin Kamara maybe not playing. Kendre Miller's not bad. If you notice, like, he is a very, very capable and serviceable backup. So I would, if Alvin Kamara doesn't play, I'm not even worried about the 14. I think Kendre Miller can definitely hold his own.
I don't know about all that.
I do. He's a very. You guys haven't seen enough of him, but
I liked him coming out of college. Did he go to like Michigan State or something like that? Or
yeah,
yeah, I like him coming out of college, but I mean, he hasn't really translated to the NFL
because he's behind Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, he's not really getting the workload.
But
Kamara's been injured a few times over the past few years. I mean, Miller's been in the league for what, like 5 years now?
Not that long.
But someone says McBride's anytime touchdown plus 115 on fan.
No, that can't be right. That can't be right.
Oh, I was so ready for the plus.
It was plus 700. It was plus 700 on Monday.
Maybe you were looking for first touchdown scorer.
Maybe it was first. I'm pretty sure it was anytime touchdown. But I'll check again after this.
On that,
maybe I'm smoking here. But either way, like, go bet that.
But I need some of that. Okay, I have another question. Yeah, is anybody really? I know Lawson feels so confident about Michael Penix playing. Do you feel good about them laying 8.5?
No.
Oh, I feel good.
I'm not betting that game, but.
Where's that game at?
Atlanta.
Let me check.
Yeah,
I haven't liked Atlanta. Atlanta screwed me over so many times this year. I just can't bring myself to bet it.
And I'll tell you what, between the Colts and the stupid Titans, I mean, talk about a no-fly zone. Either one of those teams aren't getting a dime from me.
I mean, Cousins has been really bad the past 3 weeks, if not 4 weeks. But you don't know what Penix is going to bring yet. I mean, I need a week to look at him before I can, lay 8.5 points.
Lauren, let me make the case. What's up, Mike?
Real quick, I'm sending you the screenshot of plus 700 for Trey McBride.
Sounds good. But Lauren, let me make the case. Okay, so firstly, who's has the worst run defense in the league? In your opinion,
definitely the Giants.
Yeah. So I think the Falcons are going to run the ball all over them. And I think that's going to be a key factor. Secondly,
do you think it's a big Bijan week or a big
I think it's a big everything week. I don't know how their distribution works. I try to figure it out. I haven't bet Bijan. Their distribution's weird.
Their coaching is so bad offensively over there in Atlanta. What they're doing on offense, I just don't understand.
But I also think the extra mobility factor will help, which they desperately need. Now, Michael Penix, like, you guys watch more college than me, but I watched him in the national championship game. He's not going to run around but he also has similar ability to like a young Aaron Rodgers, a young Stroud, a young Mahomes. Not a great bit, but enough to at least get away and sell the play actions. And then also, like, I just think the Giants are ripe, and people were trying to scare me saying, well, Locke's playing Lawson. I don't think that makes much of a difference.
It doesn't matter. They've lost just as much with him as they have anybody else.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Penix can throw the ball. He's got an arm. He can throw the ball. So, I mean, he could run and he could throw the ball. I just don't know if he could read defenses yet. That's,
Let me see that. Mike, where'd you send the screenshot, bro?
To your Instagram. I lied. It was first TD. Okay. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good.
But you'll see the screenshot. You'll see the screenshot. That shit looks so real.
Yeah. Did you see people? People are trying to give me a scare saying, "Oh, but it's Lawson." I don't know.
I don't know why that's a big deal.
I don't know why it's a big deal either. Like, I watched him go 15 of 43 just a few weeks ago. Like, whoa, oh no, whoa. Like, there's much of a difference on the point spread between Locke and DeVito. DeVito actually had a good game last week.
And when you're competing against Tim Boyle for your job at quarterback, like, that should tell you where you're at in the league, starting caliber wise. Okay, other one I have, and I don't know what the odds are on this are. And Lauren is going to love this. I don't know where you can find it, but go bet the Bengals to make the playoffs. Because Denver's schedule these next 2 weeks is not good for them.
Hell yeah, I already did.
Denver, I think, is in trouble. Denver, I think, is in trouble, and I don't think, and Chris seems to be on the fact that Miami's out. So the next team in line is Cincinnati.
Yep.
So I'm telling you, look at the Broncos schedule. They play the Bengals next week. They play the Bengals next week, and they finish with the Chiefs. Those are two games they will both probably lose, assuming Kansas City is fighting for something week 18. So I don't know what the Bengals' odds are to make the playoffs. I looked at their schedule; it's not bad. I think they should win out. If they can do that, like, they'll make the playoffs.
Cleveland this week, Denver next week, and then they play. Who's their last game?
Steelers.
The Steelers.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, they could win outright. I already bet them to make the playoffs. I already did.
So
what you got?
You were talking about the Chiefs with me earlier this week. So one thing you said is that the Chiefs need to win 2 out of these last 3 to get the number 1 seed in Arrowhead, right?
Yes.
I think they lose to the Texans tomorrow. I think it's highly likely. Or I think they lose on Christmas Day. I think both are highly likely because Mahomes is going to get hit tomorrow. So that ankle will get worse. So I think that's a great bet.
Which means they will be. And the reason, let me clarify, the reason that's a great bet is because it means the Chiefs will be playing for something week 18 against the Broncos. So anyone scared that the Chiefs will sit starters, that is not something you should be concerned about.
If Buffalo gets the number 1
seed, wait a minute, you're on Houston. You're on Houston tomorrow.
Yes, everyone's on Houston tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not betting it.
I hate to do it. Lauren, I'll tell you right now, if they lose like 16-10, I am never picking the Texans again. Because
But
like
Lauren,
I'm
go watch the video. I went through it. So anyone has any last words? I'll have everyone have the last point because I gotta go.
I'm very high on Atlanta. I'm sorry, Tampa, Arizona. I like Philly. There was a dog I liked too. Who was getting points that I liked?
Okay, yeah, we gotta go, Lauren. We gotta go.
That's it. Those are the three. Sorry, those are the three I can think about. Oh, and I like the Saints to cover.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm on board with the Rams, with Philly. I'm leaning towards the Bengals now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, love Cincy.
Yeah.
Anyways, Mike. I wanted to go live on YouTube. It's just on this Dazn where I watch the games in Brazil, like the delay is like at least like fucking a minute already. YouTube's like 2 minutes. It's too hard to sync up. So
yeah, that's
want
bad.
to go live. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. I'll take you out of the chat room.
Oh, Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah, I love Tampa. Love Tampa.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Oh, thank you guys for coming on.
It's
All
dangerous.
right, y'all. Have a good weekend.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
See you guys. Thank you. See you, Chris. See you, Lauren. Yeah, Chris gave out the Hooters. Okay, guys. I'm gonna post the Patreon bets. What time is it? So we're at like 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna post the Patreon bets like 9:45 Eastern time. Prop video will be up shortly after. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. Thank you for all the support in the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. And Kels, I wanted to get to the Belichick question because I already went off on this, but maybe I'll do a separate video on it. But I'll lose subscribers because people aren't going to like my opinion. Like I tested it on Instagram. No one liked the opinion. But I think like Belichick, I think it's sad him coaching at UNC, man. I think it's really sad. That's all I'll say right now because it's like a 20-minute rant I have on it. All right, see you, Jarrett. See you, man. Yo, are you gonna go see Chris, man? Bucks this week. Let's get this money. Have a great one, everyone.